Hello, welcome back everyone. Now in this session, we are going to discuss about a very important problem that has been asked in a various product-based companies, just like Adobe and Amazon. And this is a scenario-based question. So the interviewer can ask you to solve this problem on the basis of particular scenario. Like we need to solve this question with the help of Windows function or with the help of joins, and they will give you certain condition. Okay. So the problem statement is that we need to find more than two times consecutive numbers. Don't worry about that. You will understand the problem statement with the help of some examples. But before diving into the problem, I request you all kindly execute this script in your SSMS so that we both can solve the problem parallelly. As you can see over the screen, we are having a table named as series. I am just doing a select star from table name and the table name is series. And as you can see over the output, we are having two columns, name as id and num respectively. As id have values like 1, 2 and so on, and num is having a consecutive numbers like for the scenarios of id 1, 2 and 3, here 1, 1 and 1. It is a consecutive number as it is repeating 3 times. Similarly for the scenario of 3 or similarly for the scenario 4 and 5, there are no any consecutive numbers, but coming to the id 6 and 7, the 2 is repeating 2 times, so it is also consecutive numbers, the number that has been repeating 2 times. So what we have to find, we have to find the consecutive numbers that are repeating 2 times and 3 times respectively. But the trick is that we don't have privilege to use any Windows function. Okay, we can solve this problem without the help of Windows function. So this is a method first. So just think about that. How can we compare or how can we find out the consecutive numbers without the use of Windows function like row number, lead lag function and any advanced function? Just have a look over it, take your time, pause the video and try to solve the problem. Just recap about all the old concept that I've told to you about joins, about anything else. Okay, let's start to solve this problem. First of all, before solving this problem, we will try to understand the data set and what is given here. So to save the time, I have copied it here. As you can see over the screen, here we're having a table T1, which is a series table, okay, which contains two columns. If anyhow we can compare this table with itself on the basis of certain condition, then we can solve the problem easily. But how? Like if we can compare this row with the respective table, okay, then the problem will be very easy for us. So what I did, I copied this table two times, like table T1 and table T2. The T1 and T2 are the aliases for the same table, name as series. And what I did, I just think about the scenarios, like if we can compare this ID 6 with the ID 5, this ID 5 with the ID 6 respectively. But how? Just have a look over this scenario. Like here, first of all, we're trying to solve the two consecutive numbers. Okay, then moving forward, we will try to solve three consecutive numbers. Okay, like you can see over the screen, what I am doing here, I am comparing this ID 6 with ID 5. If ID 6 is equals to ID 5 and the numbers are same, then it is a consecutive numbers. Similarly, the ID 7 and ID 6 are same, okay, and the number is also same, then it is a consecutive numbers. So just take the example from the reference table. As you can see here, the ID 6 is having number 2, okay, and the ID 5 is not having number 2, okay, so this will not go in the bucket. Okay, coming to the scenario of ID 7, ID 7 is having number 2, perfect. And what about the previous ID? The previous ID 6 is having number 2, yep. So as you can see, the ID 7 and ID 6 both are having the same number, okay, 2, and we have to find that scenario only if the number is repeating two times. Okay, and moving forward, we will try to solve three times. So what we did, we have just created table T1 which contains ID column, okay, just like here, okay, and we have just subtracted one number from that, means we are comparing ID 7 with ID 6, ID 7 with ID 6 by subtracting one number. If IDs are like if the first ID equals to second id minus 1 and the numbers are same, then we can say that it is a consecutive number. Got the point? If you're not able to understand, then don't worry. We will just write the script and we will understand step by step. Okay, so it will be more clear to you. So what concept we are using here? We are using the concept of self join. Okay, and what is self join? A self join means when we are comparing a table with itself, it is known as self join, but on the basis of certain condition. Okay, so here we are having a table name is series. Just executing the script, so you can see that we are getting the same table. And for the series table, first time I am giving this name as T1. This is basically aliases. And what we need to do, we need to join the same table series. Okay, but the name will be different, like T2. The table is same series, but we have given the different aliases so that we can join on the with certain condition. And the what condition I am giving just right now, let's see, T1 dot id means the id from this first table should be equal to id minus 1 for the second table, means t2 dot id minus 1. Okay, means just like id from first table, this one should be equal to table t2 id minus 1. Like it is going to compare like id1 with 0. Okay, it is not equal. id2 with 1, id3 with 2, 4 with 3, 5 with 4, 6 with 5, 7 with 6, and 8 with 7, and so on. So just let's execute this and see what we will get in the output. Okay, so it is comparing id, the current id, with the id minus 1. Okay, as you can see over the screen. Like here, id1 is matching with id2. Okay, id2 is matching with id3 because we are comparing minus 1. So 3 minus 1 is 2. Yep, 2 is matching with 2. And we are getting the respective numbers for that IDs. Like 2 is having number 1, 3 is having number 1. So what we are doing? We are comparing a table contains a table name a series with the respective ID column with ID column only, but passing some condition like previous row, current row comparing with previous row. Okay, so let's note down the point. We are comparing current row with previous row. Okay, because we are doing t1.id equals to t2.id minus 1, and t1 and t2 are the same tables, but we are joining. Okay, on the basis of like t1.id means current row should be equal to previous row. Got the point? Okay, so now we are having a 7 matching records in which the IDs are matching. Okay, because as we will execute the native table, then we are having 8 records, but the first record will not match as it is not going to match with 0. Perfect. Now to solve this problem, we need to pass some more condition. As what we want the number should be same, then we can call it as a consecutive numbers. So here in this scenario, we have just joined the table with the current row with previous row. And if we can pass a condition like where t1 dot number equals to t2 dot number, then what is going to do? It is going to compare like the number that is present in current row. Is it equal to previous row or not? If it is equal, then it will pass the values. Let's execute this and understand this. Okay, so if I'm executing this, as you can see, like for the scenario of 2, here 6 is also present in 2. For the id 6, the number is 2, and for the id, the number is 2. So they are getting same rows. Okay, so that's how we have find the two consecutive numbers. Okay, so I'm just recapping once more so you'll have more clarity, and after that we are going to move forward for the 3 consecutive numbers. And I request you all, you can also do for 4 consecutive number or 5 consecutive number with the help of self join, so you'll have more clarity. And if any interviewer will ask you question that how we can find the consecutive numbers, okay, without the use of Windows function, you can do that. So what we did a self join, okay, with the table series. We've created aliases t1 and t2, and we have compared the current row with the previous row. Okay, and after comparing the current row with the previous row, we have compared the number that is present in current row should be equal to the previous row. If it is equal, then we are good to go. Otherwise, we need to think about that. Okay, after executing this query, we have seen that okay, there are two numbers like 1 and 2 which are occurring more than 2 times. Okay, as you can see over the table also, the output we are getting is correct or not? Yep, 1 is repeating 2 times and 2 is repeating 2 times. So they're consecutive numbers. But what we want in output? We want only numbers. Then how can we do this? We can use t1 dot number, and what we want? We want distinct record. Let's execute this. Correct. As you can see that we have find the scenarios for two consecutive numbers. Now moving forward, we are going to find for if the number is occurring more than 2 times, means if the number is occurring 3 times. How can we solve this? I'm just trying to consume this query to save some times, but don't worry, we'll understand it step by step. Okay, so from this scenario, what we have find? We have find two consecutive numbers. Okay, but if anyhow we can just add one more row here, means if we can compare this table t1 t2 with t3, okay, so that we can have current row, previous row, and one more previous row. Got the point? So if we can compare, like here you can see over the screen what we did, we compare current row with the previous row. And if we can move just one more hierarchy back, means current row, previous row, and one more previous row, okay, then we can solve this problem. Okay, previous row 1 and previous row 2. So what we are doing, we are comparing three rows in parallel, 1, 2 and 3. Okay, so how can we do this? Just think about that. I know that you have to think, but if you are able to think, then you know the concept. Okay, so we have joined table t1 and t2. If we can join with this table t3 also, okay, the same table. Okay, so let's copy this and just paste it over here. Like we are joining t1 and t2, now we are joining t3. Okay, on which condition? We need to pass condition. The condition will be, just think about that. Okay, so the condition will be t2.id is equal to t3.id minus 1. Means first of all we are comparing t1.id equals to t2.id minus 1, means current row equal to previous row. Now we are comparing previous row with their previous row respectively. Okay, so let's execute this and see what we'll get in output. As you can see over the screen, okay, so now we are having 3 id column. Initially we are having 2, means we are doing 2 times self join. Okay, as you can see here, this id1 is equals to id2 and this id2 is equals to id1, id3, means we are comparing 3 consecutive rows. Okay, now let's take the scenario of 2. As you can see here, like here we are having for id6 we are having 2, for id7 we are having 2, but for id8 we are having 3. So 2 is occurring only 2 times, but for the scenario of 1 it is present in number 1, like id1 contains number 1, id2 contains number 1, and id3 contains number 1. See how easily we solve this problem. Okay, so if we were going to apply this condition, then it is going to find two consecutive numbers. Okay, that last one condition, where one clause. Let's execute this, and after that we'll do some one more step. So this is giving me two consecutive numbers, but here this number is not same, so we need to pass one more condition, and the condition will be and t2 dot number equals to t3 dot number. Let's execute this and see that. Okay, yep, so as you can see over the screen, the id1 is having number 1, id2 is also having number 1, and id3 is also having number 1. So what we did, we have compared current row with the previous row and their more previous row. Okay, so that's how we solve this problem with the help of a self join. So just recapping the concept one more so that you have more clarity. As you can see over the screen, we are having a data set named as series. Okay, and we need to find the consecutive numbers, but without the help of Windows function. So what we did, we think about the self join. Why self join? Because we are comparing the table with it itself on the basis of certain condition, like we are comparing this row, current row, with the previous row and so on. So if we are able to do this with the help of self join, then we can solve the problem. So we have think about that and we have solved it for 2 consecutive numbers and for 3 consecutive numbers. But for the 4 consecutive numbers, like in this table, we are not having a scenario for 4 consecutive numbers, but I request you all, kindly do this. Just do some modification in the current table, like series table, add some more records, and try to solve this problem. I am looking forward for your comments as you're able to understand or not. And in upcoming videos, like for this problem, for this same problem statement, we are going to solve it with the help of Windows function, like lead lag, with the help of row number also, and with some more methods. So if interviews can ask you anything about consecutive numbers, you'll have more clarity. Like he can ask you from any method, and you can solve it in a minute. Okay. So if you're able to understand this question clearly, and you are and you're able to build a logic, then please just like, share, and subscribe among your friends. So it will motivate me to just publish some more insightful videos for you. Thank you for watching. Have a great day ahead.